Hello, my dear grandchildren. Come closer to Grandma, because today I'm going to share something very special with you. You see, in my day, we learned to save food, not because it was a luxury, but because it was a necessity. My mother and grandmother went through hard times, and I grew up listening to their stories and learning these precious secrets. Nowadays, with so much uncertainty in the world, I think it's time to revive this wisdom from our ancestors. It's not out of fear, my dear. It's out of love for our family and prudence. But first, tell me, what trick did you learn from your grandmother or do at home? Write it here in the comments. Dry salt for meat. Look, my dear, the Romans already used this technique. You take the meat, rub it well with coarse salt, leave it on a platter, and turn it over from time to time. The salt will suck out all the moisture, and the bacteria won't be able to survive. It's like mummifying the meat, just like the Egyptians did. It will be tough, but when you're ready to use it, just soak it in water to remove the excess salt, preserving vegetables in salt. My mother used to do this with cucumbers and cabbage. Cut them into thin slices, mix with coarse salt in a bowl, and let the water drain. Then press them tightly into a glass jar. The salt creates an environment that microbes hate, and the vegetables stay crisp for months. It's delicious in winter when there are no fresh vegetables. Salt-cured fish. Old fishermen used to do this to take on long trips. Clean the fish well, cover it completely with sea salt, and leave it on a slanted piece of wood to drain. In a week, you have fish that will last for months. What wisdom, right? Smoked meat. Since the days of the cavemen, my love, man has discovered that smoke preserves food. Hang the meat at a good height over a wood fire that produces plenty of smoke. The smoke contains substances that kill bacteria and give the meat a divine flavor. You can use orange wood, which is delicious. Smoked sausages. Here at home, we've always made smoked sausage. After stuffing the casings, hang them in a well-ventilated place and smoke them lightly from below. In a few days, you'll have sausage that will last for months without refrigeration. How delicious, right? Homemade smoked cheese. Did you know you can smoke cheese too? Take some hard cheeses and place them in a structure that allows the smoke to pass through them. The cheese develops a crust that protects the inside and gives it an incredible flavor. My father used to make this, and it was our dessert at parties. Sun-dried meat. Ah, the famous carne de sol. Cut the meat into very thin slices, season with salt, and hang it in the strong sun. In a few days, you'll have meat that lasts for years. Just make sure it doesn't get wet and store it in a dry place. That's how our grandparents survived the droughts in the Northeast. Crystallized fruit. Take fruits such as bananas, papayas, or pineapples. Cut them into slices, sprinkle them with sugar, and let them dry in the sun. The sugar works like salt, removing moisture and preventing spoilage. The result is a treat that lasts for months and satisfies your sweet tooth. Dried grains in straw. The Indians already did this with corn. Let the ears dry on the plant, then remove the grains and store them in tightly closed containers with a few bay leaves. The grains become hard and can be turned into flour or corn porridge when you need it. Dried medicinal herbs. Every home needed to have an arsenal of dried herbs. You cut the herbs early in the morning when the dew has dried. Tie them in small bundles and hang them in a well-ventilated place out of direct sunlight. This way, you have tea for the whole year and natural medicine for the family. Sweets in syrup. Sugar is another powerful preservative, my dear. I used to make papaya, cider, and pumpkin sweets. Cook the fruit in sugar until it forms a thick syrup. The sugar creates an environment that neither fungi nor bacteria can survive in. And how sweet they are. Fruit in honey. My great-grandmother used to do this. Choose ripe but firm fruit. Dip it in pure honey and store it in clay pots. Honey is a natural antibiotic and preserves fruit perfectly. The ancient Greeks used to make quince this way. What a beautiful tradition. Homemade rapadura. With sugar cane, you make a thick molasses and let it dry in the sun until it hardens. It turns into a sweet block that lasts for years and is still nutritious. It was a children's treat and a source of energy for workers. Grandma's sauerkraut. Cut the cabbage very thinly, mix with salt, and squeeze well in a bowl until the liquid comes out. Leave to ferment for a few days at room temperature. The good bacteria take over and prevent the bad ones from developing. It becomes sour and delicious. Pickled cucumbers. Place whole small cucumbers in a jar with water, salt, and vinegar. Natural fermentation keeps them crisp and tasty for months. Just add salt to taste and let nature do the work. Family kimchi. Koreans have been doing this for thousands of years. Take Chinese cabbage, carrots, radishes, season with pepper and salt, and let it ferment. Lactic acid bacteria preserve everything and are good for the gut. It's medicine and food rolled into one. Pork in lard. This was the most efficient trick on the farm. Cook the pork in its own lard until it is very tender. Then store everything submerged in the lard. The fat insulates it from the air and the meat keeps for months. This is how meat was stored in winter. Sausages in fat. After making the sausages, you can cook them and store them covered in lard in a tin. They're delicious and last a long time. Just make sure they're always covered in fat. Homemade pâté. Cook liver or other offal. Blend well, season, and store in a container with a layer of fat on top. The fat acts as a natural protective layer. It was a snack for important visitors. Pickles. Vinegar is acidic and therefore preserves everything. Place chopped vegetables in jars with strong vinegar, salt, and seasonings. The acidity prevents any bugs from spoiling your food. Palm hearts, onions, peppers. Everything tastes good this way. Pickled eggs. Hard-boiled eggs. Peel them and place them in a jar with seasoned vinegar. They will keep for weeks and are great for traveling or as a snack. My grandfather used to take them to the farm. Escabeche meat. Cook pieces of meat or chicken. Let them cool and place them in a vinegar marinade with seasonings. The acidity preserves it and gives it a special flavor. It was a party dish at my grandmother's house. Cured olives. Olives have to lose their natural bitterness. Soak them in salt water for days, changing the water. Then store them in a jar with coarse salt. They dehydrate and keep for years. That's how they did it in the Mediterranean. Cured cheeses. After making fresh cheese, cover it with coarse salt and leave it on an airy shelf. The salt forms a rind that protects the cheese inside. In a few months, you will have delicious cured cheese. Salted walnuts and chestnuts. Soak the chestnuts in salt water, then dry them well in the sun. The salt penetrates and preserves them for a long time. This is how sailors used to take nutritious food on long voyages. Grains in clay pots. Clay breathes and maintains a constant temperature. Store beans, corn, and rice in well-covered pots with bay leaves to keep bugs away. They can last for years. This was the farm's pantry. Flour in a kerosene can. My grandmother kept cassava flour in old, clean kerosene cans. Metal preserves well and protects from moisture. Just dry the can thoroughly beforehand and put in a few eucalyptus leaves to keep insects away. Crystallized honey. Pure honey never spoils. If it crystallizes, just heat it up a little and it will return to a liquid state. It was the sweetener and medicine of the house. Honey with propolis was a treasure for curing colds and wounds. Whole corn on the cob. Let the corn dry in the field, with the husks as natural protection. Then store the whole cobs in a dry place. The husks protect the kernels from moisture and insects. Just thresh them as needed. Home roasted coffee. Buy green coffee beans and roast them at home as you use them. Green beans last for years, while roasted beans lose their flavor quickly. That's how it was done before industrial coffee existed. What a wonderful aroma it made in the house. Sweet potatoes in the sand. Dig a hole, line it with dry sand, Place the potatoes in it without touching each other and cover with more sand. The sand maintains a constant temperature and absorbs moisture. They will last for months buried like this. It was the natural refrigerator of the countryside. Look, my dears, these techniques aren't just ancient history. They are pure wisdom that can save us in difficult times. Each of these recipes has been passed down from mother to daughter, from grandmother to granddaughter, through wars, droughts, crises, and has reached us. We don't need to live in fear, but a prepared family is a protected family. When you master these skills, you have autonomy, security, and the peace of mind that comes from knowing how to take care of your loved ones. Keep these recipes safe, practice a little at a time, and pass them on to your children and grandchildren. Because the greatest inheritance we can leave is not money in the bank. It is knowledge in our heads and wisdom in our hearts. And always remember, Grandma is here, rooting for you, sending lots of love and protection to the beautiful family that you are. A big kiss in each of your hearts.